On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a pedal. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. And in this case, one of our favorite pedal builders who has become a friend of the program, great guy, David Barber. We're taking a look at his collaboration with 5 Watt World with the Plus pedal.
Right. And David was over here about 2-3 weeks ago. Depending on when this goes out, we released the video with him. It's like 40 minutes long. It's a deep dive. It has wonderful. Dave is an amazing player, has great playing in it, and his insight on how to work this and use this. And so welcome to our episode on it. Go check out that. But he did use the UA Audio Dream 65 reverb. When he was here, we wanted to find out how it sounds through an amp. So we begged Dave to leave one of these here when he left, and we ran it straight to an amp. Before we get into that real quick, I'll just tell you, it's a drive pedal. We have a level, a tone, and a gain. You have 2 toggle switches. On this side, it's a 3-way toggle for treble enhancements. All the way to the left is no enhancement. If you go over to the middle, it's the most treble enhancement. And then one more over, it's like in between none and the most. Same on the other side with bass, all the way over, no bass enhancement in the middle, the most bass enhancement over here. Not much bass enhancement. So, yeah, how's it sound? Pat, you want to start off?
Yeah, so we mentioned it could be used as a boost or a standalone. We started out with a standalone, and I grabbed the Beard's Hot Rod Tele. I set the Echo Tour to a slapback, because why not? Playing it through the Tyler. I took the Plus, and because it was the Tele, I had the second level of bass, but I had the treble to the least because I was playing in the bridge. And, you know, if you're not careful with the Tele, you could kill yourself with the Tele in the bridge. So I tried to play some kind of like chicken picking spanky chords, and this is what I did.
For my first clip, I took the Plus pedal and just wanted to do kind of a clean boost thing. I turned the gain way down, turned the volume up on it. We're using it standalone. By standalone means we're not running it into another pedal. It's just guitar, pedal, amp, of course, the DLS Echo Tour sweeteners in there. So really, and then played it with the 1979. This is affectionately known as the Harrington Burst. There's a video on this guitar if you want to know more. What that crazy top's about. So I honestly thought I would totally remember. I think I did. I feel like I turned the bass up a little bit. I can't remember. You have to look at the picture. You have to look at the pedal. Here it is. All right, for my next clip, treating it as a standalone drive pedal, I grabbed the Silver Sky SE. I had it in 2. Turned the Echo Tour back onto the longer delays that I like. Again, played it through the Tyler. For the Strat,
I took the bass and I had it in the least amount of bass, and I had the treble in the middle because I wanted it to sound stratty. How about that? Silver Sky to sound stratty on 2. I juiced the gain a little bit more than I did on the Tele, and here's what I did.
For my second clip here, again, still in that standalone mode, I think this pedal, when you kind of juice the gain, can get that almost tweedy, tweed amp kind of sound out of it. Where when you first hit like a big chord, it barks at you a little bit. I love that tone. So I cranked the drive way up on it. And I think I might have pulled the bass response back to nothing because I wanted to tighten it up. I'm hitting the amp that hard. But I like the sound. I stayed with the Harrington bursts for that. Actually, I played this clip. Truth be told, I played this clip first, and we went through a couple guitars and landed on the Harrington burst.
And maybe broke a string.
Well, broke a string on the other Les Paul. But I'm glad we did. Sometimes, fortune, fate, whatever. So landed on this and really liked it. And then when I cleaned it up, went up to the neck pickup on this because I think the neck pickup on this guitar is interesting. Anyway, here it is. Whenever we do a pedal like this, we like to do some jams. We normally record the jams at the end after we had a chance to kind of work through the pedal and pick out what we want to use. So the first jam is going to be Pat. And I was backing him up. We had the Fender Hot Rod back. So thanks, Tim, over at, I want to say Downtown Sound.
Full Custom. Full showing your age.
Yeah, I'm showing my age. Full Custom Audio in Lemoyne for fixing that. I grabbed the Dolan Custom guitar. Again, there's a video out there floating around about this pretty unique instrument. And I don't know why, other than I wanted to play it. And then, Pat, what'd you do?
Well, I always feel like I give a million caveats, but I'm going to say what I did was I went with, I put the plus after my drive that I selected. And I selected my original 808 because I'm pretty comfortable with it. I'm pretty familiar where the sound is. So I wanted to start with a known. I played the Beard's American Strat here, but I put the plus after it. And I just put everything, sorry, David, I put everything at noon. And I took the two toggles and put them in the middle. So it was the most bass, the most treble, everything straight up. And I played this.
It sounded fantastic.
It did.
So now we're into the portion of the video where we're pairing the Plus pedal. Because it's called the Plus for a reason, right? Because you're supposed to be kind of pairing it with something, whether you're pairing it with an amp or pairing it with another pedal. In this case, I grabbed the Direct Drive. I asked Dave, ironically, months ago, before this pedal, before I knew about it, I was like, Dave, every now and then with the Direct Drive, I just want some more. Like, what would you put in front of the Direct Drive just to give it some more? And I say some more, maybe a little bit more volume, some more sustain, some more, just like if I hold a note, it's gonna go. I how to describe this? I like sometimes when the guitar is so hot that if you take your hand off, it's like, wow, I kind of like that, right? And then you have to kind of tame that and control it. And Dave was like, well, use the Forget About It or the pedal that we're about to put out. Well, here's the pedal I didn't know I needed until he told me. So my favorite, the Direct Drive with the Plus going into it.
All right, for one of my clips to pair the Plus with something else, I already had an original Tube Screamer. We do not have an original Klon lying around here, but we have a very nice Mythos Mjolnir, the Wildwood edition. It's a very nice pedal. So I thought, well, how would the Plus act with a Klon? And once again, me being the novice and the rookie, I put the Plus on the backside to boost what I was already working with. And with that, because I was playing this wonderful 335, I tamed the bass and the treble both a little bit because this can get both. And I played this.
So when we set out to make this video, there was two ways to approach it. Finding some real popular drives to run the Plus either into or after, it doesn't matter. You did the Mjolnir, you did like a Klon style, the TS9. Dave had done the Lightspeed, the King of Tone when he was here, so you could hear those. Obviously, I did the Direct Drive. David did his bus, so we did some Barber pedals. So one that's maybe not super popular, but is a type or a style of drive that I really like, that I think is very different than everything that we tried, is the 55 from LPD. It's a tweed style pedal. And I tend to run it with the drive way up. You know, I tend to run these tweed style ones. I really like the way amps just kind of totally bark. So I wanted to use the Plus just a little bit differently. Like I said, it can do its own kind of tweed thing on itself. But in this case, sometimes with tweed pedals, and I'm not talking about the LP, I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
I've noticed that I absolutely just am in love with the rhythm sounds that they get, the way it barks, even when you roll the volume back on the guitar a little bit sometimes, if you're really pushing the drive. But then if you go to take a lead, sometimes I feel like, well, maybe I would just like to have a little bit more, right? And on the Plus pedal, I discovered tonight on that, it gives it a little bit more. And then with those enhancements, I was able to, I think I did the full bass enhancement on it, really kind of push the bottom end out a little bit. So I think on this one, just played single note kind of things because I just wanted you to hear the difference of the tweed style pedal with no added benefit. And then with it, right? So, I mean, the rhythm stuff would have sounded great. And to do that, why not get a good P90 guitar? So grabbed our Gibson SG Junior that we did not send back to Zounds. Mm-hmm. So here's that clip.
All right, for my final clip and pairing, sort of stole the thunder with my jam because I played the other Strat with the same Tube Screamer, same Plus, but I played this one because I think for the Univibe series, we had this tuned down a half step, and I'm not sure in my 40 years of playing guitar or so I've ever played a guitar tuned down to E flat. I thought, well, let's do it. Let's get a Tube Screamer out and let's play a Strat tuned down to E flat and play something and then hit it with the Plus. Again, I had it on the back end of the signal chain, the Plus that is. And here's what I did. So just like we did earlier, we like to do a jam with the pedal that we're featuring. And so I played rhythm for the Beard, and I played it on his lovely 2001 McCarty hollow body with the piezo that was redone for you by PRS and sent it back. So I played this in the middle. So I had the magnetic and the piezo straight into the Hot Rod. And that's what I accompanied him with. And what did you...
Yeah, so the clip that you saw a few minutes ago with the direct drive and the Plus going into the direct drive. That's what I did. Same guitar. I used the PRS, my 2000 PRS McCarty. Started with just the direct drive. Clicked in the Plus.
Sorry.
You all right?
Yeah. I'm all emotional.
Clicked in the Plus, and then At the very end, I rolled the volume back a little bit too. And I think it's interesting that even with all of that, which is a lot.
There was enough gain to squeal.
Right. Rolling the volume back and clean it up a little bit. That's pretty cool. Final thoughts, if you're not dying over there.
No, I'm not all of a sudden just out of the blue. This channel has really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I was not a treble boost guy. I'm not necessarily a boost guy in general. But this pedal is so much more than that. And to watch from a few feet away, David play, and like you said, through the UA Dream 65, we were really anxious to hear how this is going to react moving air. And it was really great no matter how we used it. And it didn't take long to dial anything up. Like the cool thing about this, I think this may be the first pedal of David's that I have any rough understanding of what this does. Sorry, David. I usually just click them until I hear what I like, but this way I knew kind of what I was doing. So when I got to the Tele, I'm like, well, I got to tame that treble a little bit, right? And I had another one had a lot of bass, so I got to tame the bass. And another one, I'm like, well, what does it sound like wide open, like on the Strat? I just give it the most bass and treble. So a lot of cocktailing can be done there. I did turn the tone knob, but not much. Like you said earlier, you can do a lot of cocktailing and changing with these. The tone knob, I used it very little. There's a lot of gain on tap if you want it as a standalone. You probably heard that, or you could pull it back. And I only used it one way as a boost. I used it after, like I said, the Tube Screamer that I'm very familiar with. And it just gave me more of the Tube Screamer with a little bit of tone shaping on the back end. Because Tube Screamers sound great, but there's that mid hump. I could do a little bit here. I like that. And then when I paired it with the Mjolnir, the K-style pedal, there's some things about those pedals I try to get comfortable with, and I don't always get comfortable with. I liked how I had it dialed up, but when I had this on the back end and I could do a little tone shaping, I liked it even more. Mm-hmm. So pedals I was familiar with actually made it sound better. And as a standalone, there are a lot of options in here. Congratulations to Dave and Keith for another great collaboration. And we're glad he came over and we could steal this one. I mean, pay for this one at some point.
Did we say 5 watt in the beginning?
I don't know.
We might have messed that up. If we did, we apologize, because this is the collaboration with 5 Watt World. For me, for the longest time, I've used my direct drive with, in front of it, Earthquaker speaker cranker, which is a one knob. It's the Electra circuit that's the one that started the whole It's Electra series that we have. And I like that because it was pretty easy to dial in. Done. Right. And so sometimes I get frustrated when you have all this. It's like, oh, that's going to be too much to dial in. And I really like the way the speaker cranker would react with the volume knob and a little bit of breakup that it could give you. And now my eyes are starting to open. Like you said, your eyes are opening a little bit. I'm thinking this might be a better option for that. Mm-hmm. I love that where you could get enough dirt on this that a wide open guitar would have that kind of sizzle to it for your clean tone, maybe. Would have that sizzle to it, but would also, when you roll your volume back, clean up really nice, but would also be good to push into like the direct drive, to push in to another drive, like the 55 or the Crazy Tube Circuits Falcon, which is another tweed pedal. So even though it has more knobs and more buttons, sometimes that verse, Dave and I've had this argument before. I don't mind things with one knobs. He's like, nobody wants it because you got to have all this. And so I'm starting to see the light, maybe a little bit. We'll go there. I actually am going to take this over, if Pat doesn't mind, and plug it onto the live rig and leave it there and try it out for a little bit just to see how that works. To prove I'm not kidding, on the little travel board I made, we did an episode on that not too long ago. I put the Forget About on it, which is really kind of like the precursor to this. There's several precursors to this. There's, the old, I think it's an old Boss pedal. Mm-hmm. Then the Clark Gainster and the Clark pedal, and then Forget About It. Now this. So nicely done, Barber Electronics and 5 Watt World. The Plus. Anything to add?
If you want to know the ins and outs, as we mentioned in the top of this,
Yeah.
go watch the video where David was down here talking about the pedal. And this would be a good time to push our social media. Go follow us on Instagram if you don't, because you can go watch all of those clips. You can do it on YouTube too, but Instagram, you can find almost every clip that David played while he was down here. His playing is ridiculous and so diverse.
Yeah. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, click the notification bell, like button, comment, all that stuff. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us grow the channel so we can interact with cool people like Barber Electronics and 5 Watt World and get cool stuff in to share with you. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.